Hey everyone, it's Lisa from the blog farmhouseonboone.com, and today I'm inviting you to join me in the farmhouse as I cook throughout the day for our family. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Might even be fermenting something, so I'm inviting you to come along. For breakfast, I made one of our favorite go-to meals. This one is great because you can put it in the oven and forget about it while you're doing laundry, getting kids dressed, milking the goats, whatever task you have to do, depending on the time of year or what season of life you're in. To make this, I just whisked together 6 eggs, 1 cup milk, 2 tablespoons honey or sugar, a 1/4 teaspoon salt, 1 stick of melted butter, a teaspoon of vanilla, and a 1.5 cups of all-purpose einkorn flour. For this recipe, I like to use my 14-inch skillet. You could also cut this recipe in half and use a smaller, like a 10-inch skillet. I make this and just put it in my 14-inch skillet. I preheat it a bit at 425 degrees, add it all to the skillet with a little bit of melted butter, and then bake it for about 20 minutes or until puffy. I like to serve this with a berry syrup. To make this, I just add frozen berries. I like to use strawberries and blueberries the most, to a saucepan with the lid on, and then allow it to simmer and release all of the liquid for about 10 minutes. Then remove the lid, add a little bit of honey or syrup. I do probably about a 1/4 cup-ish, and then stir it. Now, if you keep cooking it, you won't really have to blend it, but if you're in a hurry, you can add an immersion blender so that it is more of a syrup consistency. I'm going to take a quick ad break to tell you about today's video sponsor, Native Deodorant. I've been using aluminum-free deodorants for over a decade now, but sometimes it's a challenge to find ones that actually work and last throughout the whole day and don't leave you smelly just within a few hours. Native is an awesome company because they offer these vegan and cruelty-free deodorants that really work for the entire day, no matter what you're doing. I have been using Native deodorant for a few months now, and I really love how long lasting it is. I also really like that they are offering a plastic-free version, which is the exact same formula that they usually offer, but in a more sustainable package. So you just hold it up from the bottom and just apply it like that. My favorite scents are citrus blossom, lavender and rose, and charcoal. They also just recently launched 2 new scents that I'm really excited to try: the lilac and white tea and the tangerine and citrus bloom. Of the ones I chose, I really like the lavender and rose the most. It's definitely the one I use the most often. It just has a really feminine scent. It's not super strong, but it is a nice floral, especially for spring. It is aluminum-free, paraben-free, and sulfate-free, and includes really simple ingredients like coconut oil and shea butter. It's the next best thing to a homemade deodorant. They also offer free shipping to the US. 3 plastic-free deodorants are normally $39, but if you use my link and code FARMHOUSE, you'll get them for $29, which is 25% off. And now back to the video. I got a couple loaves of my no-knead sourdough bread going yesterday so that I could bake them today. got those in the oven and then whipped up some tomato soup. Now, normally tomato soup is something to make in the summer when tomatoes are ripe, but I just really wanted it. My son said that this is basically pizza just in a different way. You make a grilled cheese and you dip it in the sauce. So it's the crust and the cheese dipped in sauce as opposed to being layered in a different way. He's right. It pretty much is just another way to eat pizza, but it's so good. So I added carrots and onions and tomatoes and fresh garlic to some butter in my Dutch oven. Sauteed those a bit, added some bone broth and salt. I added a little touch of sugar. I always like to add a little bit of sugar to tomato products. It just tastes so much better. I also added a can of fire roasted tomatoes to give it a little bit more flavor, and thyme. I cut my sourdough bread in slices and made some grilled cheeses to dip. And then just blended it with my immersion blender. I also added a little bit of flour to thicken. Now, if you have a lot of time, you can just leave the lid off and reduce it down until it is thick enough. Or you can add a little bit of flour to speed that process up to thicken it. We love serving sauerkraut with our meals. If you watch my channel, you see sauerkraut served with most meals. We just ran out, and so I am long overdue for making some because it'll be 5 to 7 days or a little bit longer before I actually have sauerkraut ready. So I'm getting some going today with 5 heads of cabbage, which will yield about 2 half-gallon jars of sauerkraut. I typically do about a tablespoon of salt per head of cabbage. Now, if they're small heads, a little bit less, large, maybe a little bit more. Usually I'll just taste it, pinch it until it sweats, and then push it down into a jar until it's nice and tight, and let it sit on the counter until we need it, which will be ASAP. The other jar I'll probably leave out a little bit longer while we are eating the first one, just so it can ferment a little bit longer. For dinner, I'm making some tacos. We love tacos. I was mentioning in my last video that I'm trying to get through all of the meat in our freezer before I order another order, because I have this habit of just using what I want the most and then leaving some of my cuts that aren't my favorite. I'm sure everybody does that. But I'm getting through them now, and we have so many roasts. I've been cooking roast with mashed potatoes and carrots all the time, and we're really just kind of sick of it. So tonight instead, I'm going to cook a roast in my Instant Pot, but I'm gonna add seasonings like cumin and garlic and onion and give it more of a Mexican flavor. And then I'm going to shred it and serve it as tacos with some guacamole, shredded cheese, sour cream. You can't go wrong with tacos. We fall back on tacos so often. We just love eating tacos, and it's great because we always have some kind of salsa on hand. Usually I can chop up an onion for something fresh. If there's cilantro, that's always good. The adults like something spicy like jalapenos or a hot sauce. Tacos are also really great if you have picky kids. Maybe some kids will only want meat, cheese, and sour cream. It's a really flexible meal like that. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me today as I cooked for my family. I hope that you enjoyed this video and got some mealtime inspiration. If you're brand new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I make 2 new videos every week on food from scratch, natural living, and a handmade home. Thank you so much for stopping by the farmhouse.